Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on into the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. Today I'm going to address a situation that has come up over the last perhaps 10 or 15 years where people are super sensitive to anything that they consider as criticism. They say, "You're too negative." Well, I have news for those people. The world is not all peaches and cream. Here are some examples. A friend of mine belongs to a club that teaches people how to speak in public. It is about 50 miles up the road from me. And he has reported to me that people constantly say they want positive feedback. They want positive feedback from the person who is evaluating them. The problem is when we agree to that, when we accede to their demands for positivity only, then they never, ever progress. They assume that every critique of their body language, their vocal variety, the subject matter, the structure of the speech, anything that the evaluator finds is not exactly right, it's not the best way of doing things, they rise up and say, "I don't like this. This is negative. I don't want to hear this anymore." Well, it's not negative. It's constructive criticism. And yet people simply cannot take anything that they consider to be negative. But it's not negative because I have had experience with a similar situation many years ago when people seemed to be of more of a hardy constitution, that they not only wanted to improve, they would even say, "Yes, I want a tough evaluation." Now today, if you gave somebody a tough evaluation, they would say it's negative. Well, fine, we'll give you all positive evaluations, and guess what? You will never progress. I promise you that. But in those days, when people gave a no-holds-barred evaluation, and that was the norm, people progressed. But it doesn't happen today. People either say that's too negative and they leave the club, or they stay a few times and they don't like it and they make a big stink about it, how negative it is. They don't want to hear negativity. They can't take criticism. And guess what? They will never, ever become good speakers. This is something of grave concern to me. We've heard today, we've heard yesterday, we've heard a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago about the so-called snowflakes, the people who cannot accept criticism. They will deny that they are super sensitive to it, but they are. They are. Anytime somebody tells them a way of improving, they view it as a personal criticism. It is not a personal criticism. It is not negative. And so this whole situation that has sprung up within the last number of years is what I call toxic positivity. Because if you keep on telling people, "Oh, you were great and you were terrific and you were wonderful and it was the best speech I ever heard. Oh, it was just the most wonderful thing in the world." And you know as an evaluator that it had many, many mistakes, many, many problems. And you keep on telling them, "Oh, it's wonderful, it's terrific, it's the greatest speech I ever heard," which is what they want to hear. Because if you say anything that could be considered as a critique, they say it's negative. And they bolt for the door. I will tell you that this whole concept of the way people are thinking today with what I call toxic positivity is hurting not only the youth of this country, but it is also hurting people who want to go somewhere to improve, but can't seem to take anything that could be considered or construed as negative. I repeat, it is not negative. But if they want to pay the ultimate price, which is never to improve, to have wasted their money, to have wasted their time because they don't want to hear any criticism at all, then they're going to have to pay the price. They will never, ever progress in whatever line of work or in school, wherever. They will never progress, and they will complain all the while about it's too negative, the teacher is too negative, I don't like that, and then they run for the hills or they hide in the closet. This cannot be accepted as the norm anymore, because they and everyone else who adopts this toxic positivity will never, ever, 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 ever improve in the whatever chosen field, whatever the subject matter is. They will never get better. They will never learn. If they want to waste their money, go ahead, that's fine. I would say, you know what? If you think it's too negative, here's your money back, and you find another place that you may be more suited for you. But this country literally has grown for many, many years and has been successful because people need to have their mistakes corrected. That doesn't mean you beat them over the head with a baseball bat, but it means in a certain way, it's like a no-holds-barred situation. You have to tell them what they have done wrong and how they can improve. So, ladies and gentlemen, this sickens me that people are so touchy. They're so touchy about anything. If you tell them how to improve, they say it's negative. So then don't come to the meeting anymore. Don't go to that school anymore. Don't go withdraw from the class. Whatever it might be, get out. If you can't take it, get out. Or as a former president once said, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time.